Eric, Zhu, and Shane Fan. There's so much to talk about, not just this, but let's get this out of the way with the sperm race thing. Whose idea was this? Which one of you wants to be responsible for this? And I assume neither one of you are Catholic.
It's kind of interesting where, initially we started it was actually more of an awareness project, right? Where, fertility shouldn't be something associated with porn or something taboo. It should be something that's a very important biomarker. Like male fertility is a big problem, right? I don't know if you've seen the statistic.
I have. 50% drop in the last 10 years. Yeah, 50% drop. Yeah.
50%. And it's still declining. And the reason is because, everyone associates it with something very, very taboo. Like if you look at the last 50 years, people stopped smoking, people stopped eating really bad stuff. People became healthier because everyone talked about it. But with sperm, it's something that has been super taboo that no one talks about, and still no one talks about. And that's why it's declining so rapidly, right? So it's like, how can you associate this with like more of a health biomarker or like a competition? And how can you turn like optimizing your health into a competition versus like something that's actually degenerate?
I got it. So by making it fun, it breaks down the barrier, and then we can then start to talk about the problems, like for 50% decrease. Is it because of microplastics? Does it have to do with exercise? Is it the food? Is it general testosterone drop? Because if this continues, we as a species pretty much are finished, right?
Yeah. People are having a lot of trouble making babies right now, right? Fertility is a big problem. And so it's also like, for example, if I ask someone on the streets, right, like 90% of the time, they won't even know what biomarkers or how to get it tested or what kind of things affect your sperm health, right? Yes. And so it's declining incredibly rapidly. And sort of what we actually did was with these two racers, we're giving them thousands of dollars every single week to optimize their health, try out all the supplements, try out all the things, for example, sleeping early, eating really healthy and stuff like that, and kind of giving them resources to optimize their fertility health and make them race faster on the racetrack.
It's so of the two guys, is one trying one protocol, the other's trying the other protocol, or are they both doing the exact same protocol?
We give them the money, and they try a bunch of weird things. One guy is tanning his balls every single morning.
Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. That's okay. All right, let me just test your knowledge of the human sperm for a minute. You ready, both of you? Hang on. You ready? A little fun music there, Andrew. Let's see. You ready? Here we go. All right. What's faster, human sperm or a snail?
I'd say definitely a snail.
Snail is correct. What's faster, a sperm or a caterpillar?
Definitely a caterpillar.
That's correct. So a sperm can go 8 inches an hour. You got your snail, top speed. This one particular one goes about 147 feet an hour. And then you got your caterpillar coming in there, blistering 4 feet per minute. So absolutely right. You do know your sperm. All right. So, guys, I like this idea because nobody talks about it because, but you're right. Unless somebody starts to do something about this, then we are not able to procreate. Of course, we see this happening in Japan and across other countries in Europe. The replacement rate drops. And as you guys, but no, you're both very smart with mathematics. Once you drop below that replacement rate, the ability to get back up to be able to continue, pretty much the bottom drops out, right?
Yeah, and in addition to just the decline of fertility rates, sperm is actually a really, really good aggregated biomarker for a man's overall health, right? So basically how you live your lifestyle with how much you sleep, how much alcohol you drink, your diet choices, like if you go to the sauna or not, they're all like impacting how fast your sperm moves.
Yeah.
So sperm fertility is actually super, super correlated with men's health. So now with sperm racing, we are turning health into a competition.
So do you hope, so this is going to be the first, or do we expect to see this maybe every single year? Like, Memorial Day's got the Indianapolis 500. I mean, do you get yourself, I know you, Eric, you talk a lot about branding and how important that is. Will it be one day a year that we can look forward to this type of thing? And is this going to be throughout the United States? Where does this go in your crazy imagination?
In 4 years, I see this in the Olympics. So, actually, let's be realistic here. I don't think it's going to be the Olympics in 4 years. I think in 8 years, it could be in the Olympics. Not 4 years, but It could be an Olympic sport. We're doing USC versus UCLA next week, right? On April 25th. But after that, I think we could go a lot bigger, right? With celebrities, Drake versus Kendrick would definitely rip.
Nice.
Wow.
And it's kind of interesting where it's like, if you look at every single sport, everyone's training or optimizing their health to perform better in swimming or perform better in running. This is you're optimizing your fertility health or your overall kind of health to compete better, to make your sperm swim faster.
Yes.
Which is kind of
so
and the world's first sperm race.
Right. So what will they see, by the way? So both contestants are probably behind curtains somewhere, I'm assuming. And then the sample is then put under a microscope. What does it look like exactly?
So kind of how this works is we have a microfluidic chip, right? And in the microfluidic chip, we push through, we have this thing called a rheotaxis, which basically simulates the movement of a reproductive system, right? Where it pushes the current, towards the sperm, and the sperm swims past or through the current, right, to the finish line.
Yeah.
And then we use computer vision to basically trace each individual sperm cell and overlay it onto like a 3D object to make it look a lot more appealing. Because I don't know if I haven't seen sperm before this. Now I stare at like sperm samples an hour a day, but you probably haven't seen sperm under a microscope, right?
No.
It's not that appealing, but we're able to trace it and make it something that's very interesting or very entertaining.
Okay, so it'd be easier to watch than hockey.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, because that's a big complaint in hockey on TV. You can't see the puck moving around. All right, let's move off this and on to both of your crazy lives. Shane, I'll start with you first. I watched this video. You do this thing where people are always challenging you, how tall am I? And then with that, you decide you're going to find it. And the most amazing one is some guy goes, how tall am I? You'll never know. And he didn't show much at all. He's in front of a wall, right? And I think he showed his sneakers or something. Because you were able to bust, when Taylor Swift said, I'm 5'11", you're like, nah, I don't think so. And then you dig into all this sort of stuff. You've got, I don't know how many millions of followers. The craziest one was when the guy said, okay, tell me how tall I am. And all you had was a wall behind you. Can you explain to everybody in 1 minute what you did in order to bust this guy and get his height?
Yeah, so for context, this guy was just standing in front of a pillar, right? And I was in the pillar, we see that there was a reflection. So through the reflection, I was able to geolocate it to this mall. So I looked through so many different malls like around the world. I looked into like just Google Images, to pictures online. I spent like countless hours on that video. And then, I identified it to be in the Pavilion Mall in Malaysia. So essentially, packed the flight and then basically went over to Malaysia and found the exact number.
Whoa, Shane, wait. Basically went over to Malaysia. You got on a plane and flew from where to Malaysia?
I flew from New York to Malaysia.
Okay.
So it was quite literally like I think like 19 or 20 hour flight, just for that one video.
Okay, so you're pretty sure this is where the guy was. So then once you get to this mall in Malaysia, but you didn't go to the mall first, you thought you could try to track him down somewhere at a hotel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw on his story that he was like in Singapore, right? So I went to Singapore, and then I found myself at this like crypto party, at this like $40 million mansion. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then I met some cool people there, but I didn't meet Hubert, who I was trying to find the height of.
Wow.
So you don't find him there. So then you actually go to the mall. And then with that, you're like, okay, so here's this one piece of tile, the next piece of tile, the next piece of tile. Then you got that. Then you knew how tall he was. Then you added his shoes because you knew the shoe size. Then you always had the sock size. You had everything else in there. And then at that point, bang, you got the guy's height, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. And while you're sitting on the plane flying to Malaysia, are you thinking to yourself, Shane, is this the best use of my time?
Well, I have another company before Sperm Racing, and so I do a lot of like business travels around the world, right?
Okay.
So at the time, I did have conferences in Asia that I had to go to. So it didn't make sense for me to be in that general area. But for
Okay.
Malaysia, I just it was like a side trip to make the video. But because I have my own business as well, that I would have to travel to, like it made the most sense for me to just create a really, really funny video as well as going to Asia for a business trip.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just talk brass tacks. So you do the video, it gets I don't know how many millions of views. So then at that point, you're like, okay, this time is well spent because I got to go there anyway. I do the video, get millions and millions of views, and ka-ching, I make money. So it balances out, correct?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So it's not, it's just like a crazy person just trying to find out somebody's
Not
height.
frivolous.
No,
Come on.
I love the fact when he watched, I forget who she was on with Taylor Swift was on, and you're like, no way, she's not 5'11". And then you figured out the height of the railing that she was walking by. Then you also figured out the size of her guitar. You knew the size of the guitar, you figured that out. And then you figured out, okay, the shoes that you were wearing, you forgot that. And you got her from 5'11" down to 5'7", I think, right?
It's been a while, so I don't remember.
It was something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, you'd be one of these guys if somebody was in a bar and they're like, "Oh yeah, the such and such." You'd be on your phone so quickly to go, actually that's not true. Right? Are you the guys busting? Are you the one busting everybody whenever they make up some sort of statistic that just doesn't make sense?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm doing for sperm racing too, to make sure that like everything is accurate and everything is going the way it should be.
Yeah. Oh, you're very good, by the way, Shane, in bringing it back to sperm racing again. So you guys are promoting the hell out of it. By the way, how are you going to make money off of this thing? Do you have sponsors for it, or do people have to pay to watch?
Yeah, so essentially it's sort of like the UFC or any other sports where we sell tickets, right?
Okay.
And we also have like partnerships with different companies, and we will have sponsors as well. So like one of our biggest sponsors is like this bio tech company called Nucleus, who's our main sponsor. And we also have like other plans with like merch or fertility kits or whatnot. We haven't thought too far down the line, but we want to make this into both a sport and entertainment company,
Yeah.
as well as something that's like benefiting like everyone's health and fertility rates as well.
I would think, of the colleges, I don't know why you chose these two. I would assume a college like University of Phoenix, which is an at-home online college, you'd have more people that are just sort of involved in this activity on their own in an amateur way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the reason why we chose the colleges is
Yes.
Because the proximity, right? It was a lot closer with USC and UCLA, and also the rivalry is pretty intense. I like we were on campus and yeah, like especially during the games and stuff like that. I haven't seen a more intense rivalry so far that is this close in proximity compared to UCLA and USC.
Okay, so we'll stay on this because you guys want to keep promoting it. So let me ask you this: what will be the other part? Will celebrities be there? Will these guys be walking out to walk-on music? I assume gigantic amounts of lights and lasers. Right? Do you have some idea? Will there be a mascot of some sort? What will be the sort of the visual elements leading up to it? Have you figured all that out yet?
Yeah, so we have a press conference. We have dramatic like competitor walk-ins. We have weigh-ins, right? We have like all of those in a traditional 1v1 sport.
How about
right?
stare down, where they stare at one another? They're just like staring
Exactly.
right at each other, right?
Face off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
They
then
already got in a fight prior to the race already, so
They got into a fight.
yeah. They don't really like each other, but
Wow.
it's gonna be fun.
Good. Well, do you have a favorite? Or you guys, we don't want to all of a sudden have some sort of controversy where you're betting on this thing, but inside odds, which Las Vegas going for on this one? Do you have any idea which one's going to win?
yeah, so we partner with Polymarket for this event.
Of course you did.
so,
Of course you did.
Polymarket,
Yes.
handles,
Go
like, all
ahead.
the
Yes.
traditions,
Yeah.
right? We had a bunch of like different gambling like companies reach out for us, but we wanted something that's like more legitimate. So since Polymarket is not right now it's like not available to US users,
Yeah.
international viewers will be able to bet and predict like the winners. It's just that people in California at the stadium won't be actually able to.
Okay.
It's just that we have a live stream, and everyone else online internationally will be able to bet.
All right, so hit it one more time. Give us the time, the date, and all the other stuff that goes with it, and plug the hell out of it. What do you got?
April 25th at the Hollywood Palladium. Tickets are on sale now. Spermracing.com. And if you guys, are in LA anytime and want to race your sperm, or if you're asleep and you're like, you know what, I really want to race my sperm, come by our lab sometime and we could run some tests against your friends.
Well, How about people that have gotten a vasectomy? No answer. No answer for those poor people. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good luck saving the world and entertaining millions and millions of people as that sperm travels 8 inches an hour.
Wrong!
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.